Hello everybody, Jason Barlow, Life Therapeutic Massage. I just got back from San Francisco this week. I followed through on my course known as Posturology. I completed that now. I'm a certified posturologist. What does that mean? Essentially, I'm looking at posture from a perspective of head to toe, where any differences there are from right to left and front to back, and how that can be affecting your muscle health. So just to give you an example of the powers behind posturology, yesterday with a client we found that we had a short leg. So if we look at this chart right here, you can see these lines, how one side is higher than the other, and the same up at the hip and the pelvis. So that's telling us that one side of her body was actually anatomically shorter. So in many instances, people are born this way. We don't know about it. Maybe we're walking around and somebody notices that one trouser leg seems to drag on one side more than the other. That can be a marker, certainly. But there's two types of leg length discrepancy, as we call it. One is we're born that way. One bone, it could be the shin bone or it could be the thigh bone, is anatomically shorter than the other side, which it plays out then in our longevity in life, that if we have one side shorter than the other, it's going to alter how our body is aligned. So once you determine which side is shorter, we then use simply a foot lift. Looks like this. It's fairly firm foam that you'd have to go to a shoe cobbler and have this one contoured and appropriately put into your shoe. And the premise of this is to actually raise the short side. So yesterday with my client, what we found is that she had a 6 mm difference from her right leg being shorter to her left leg. As soon as we put this in under her right side, what we found initially was that her left side of her body was rotating in. As soon as we put the right shoe insert in, her left side immediately came back into center. See, the body has natural compensations taking place all the time, that when you align the body appropriately and making sure the head's looking forward all the time, then your body will also realign itself. So just by putting the shoe lift into her foot, or below her foot yesterday, the rotations went from here straight back. That was with no therapy. Just simply having the appropriate lift underneath her foot. Now, how do you know what amount of lift you need? That's where a posturology assessment is all valuable, because we can actually use these different types of shoe insert of different thicknesses to determine if there is a difference, how much of a difference there is. Ultimately, you can then even have an x-ray done. The most important thing if you're going to have an x-ray done is that you have a formal posturology assessment and have a template created. This is all important, because when you stand, if you're not stood on the appropriate template to make sure that the heels are directly underneath the head or the greater trochanters, the head of the femur bones, then it's going to throw off all the measurements. So if you're standing with one foot out, turned, then it's going to alter how that pelvis is aligned. This is just like a hinge joint. But if you're standing appropriately, as we measure with posturology, the heel's directly aligned underneath the head of the greater trochanter in here in the hip bone and joint, then it's a more accurate assessment should we find a difference between one side and the other. So it's all important, if you're having x-rays done, that that is done appropriately with this type of template, so that you can then reference and see how many millimeters difference between one side of the pelvis to the other. So if you're interested in learning more about posturology and the assessments that I offer here in my clinic, please give me a call, 403-589-4645. Visit my website, www.lifemassage.ca, and please sign up to this Facebook, YouTube websites and blogs so that you can be up to speed with the latest in this industry. Thank you. All the best.